The first aim of this study was to characterize the mass of e-juice that was vaporized at varied powers. In order to do this, we took an e-cigarette battery, we removed the battery inside it, and we hot-wired it so that it could be attached to a laboratory power supply wherein we could precisely control the voltage supplied to the atomizer. A Kangertech ProTank 2 reservoir was used for this study with a single coil atomizer labeled 2.8 ohms but actually 3.0 ohms. As you can see, this device looks and operates similar to an e-cigarette, but we do not have a button to push. This was controlled by a switch interface to the laboratory power supply. The e-cigarette was turned on for 3 seconds and turned off. It was housed in a support, a BOD bottle, connected to a syringe and manually puffed. The first 20 mils of the puff were used to establish the puffer's rate of puffing. At 20 mils, the e-cigarette was turned on by another researcher, while the e-cigarette was puffed at 20 mils per second for 3 seconds for a total of 60 mils. After 3 seconds, the e-cigarette was turned off and an additional 20 mils was puffed through the device to clear any residual aerosol. This puff was then expelled into a fume hood. The device was allowed to stand for 30 seconds in between puffs and then repeated. So the way it would look is the first 20 seconds, 1 second on, 1, 2, 3 off, and that would be a puff. So that would be 2 puffs. 3 trials were performed, 2 trials with 5 puffs per trial at each energy level. Energy was controlled by selecting the voltage at 3 volts, 3.4 volts, all the way up to 6 volts in 0.4 volt intervals. And then a third trial was conducted with a puff count of 10 puffs per voltage setting. In this case, voltage is what was being regulated, but in the end, power is what was being controlled.